Chapter 361. Click. There was another sound of shattering, coming from the Chaos Ancient Well. Yi Tian, who was about to cultivate again, opened his eyes, looked over, and immediately frowned. Judging from the cracks in the Chaos Ancient Well, it is estimated that it can only last for another month at most. Yi Tian judged. According to the normal metaverse calculation, the time for a metaverse to open can last for half a year to a year, and then it can only wait for a long time to open again. But this metaverse can only last for a month and a half. After a month and a half, the metaverse will be completely shattered and disappear. Fortunately, I have 10 times the time acceleration, and I also have the nameless body cultivation secret technique. Otherwise, this metaverse alone wouldn't be able to let me break the limit of my body once. Yi Tian couldn't help but sigh. With a month to go, he's ready to hit his 19th physical limit. He has a talent for time. He can speed up the time by 10 times, and a month is 10 months for him. Previously, it took him 15 days to break the 18th physical limit. But now that the time has doubled, there may be hope to break the 19th physical limit. Yi Tian looked at his wife, the Moon Emperor, and found that the Moon Emperor had broken the 14th physical limit. According to the Moon Emperor's cultivation progress, by the day the metaverse is closed and shattered, she should be able to break the 16th physical limit. In the end, he took a look at his sister, Yi Yu, again, and found that his sister Yi Yu's cultivation speed was also very fast. Now she had broken the 6th physical limit. You must know that his sister Yi Yu broke the 2nd physical limit before, and now she has suddenly hit the 6th physical limit. How fast is that? Yi Tian originally wanted to let his sister enter the time acceleration range, but he still didn't do so. The fewer people who know the talent of time, the better. It's not that he doesn't believe in his sister, but it's actually not necessary. Now, his sister's cultivation speed is already very fast. She has broken through from the 2nd physical limit to the 6th physical limit all at once. It can be said that his sister has almost no accumulation at the Emperor level. If he uses his time talent to help his sister again, maybe his sister will directly break through the physical limit more than a dozen times. This is not necessarily a good thing for his sister. A strong man is not piled up with resources, and his sister can be said to have almost no dangers and difficulties under his protection. If he helps his sister infinitely, he is not helping her, but harming her. For example, Yin Yu Star Tianzhao Pavilion, cultivating Tianzhao does not provide resources at all. They let Tianzhao work hard and struggle by themselves. Otherwise, what they cultivate is just a waste Tianzhao. And Yi Tian wants his sister to work on her own, to fight for resources, and to find her own way. He can't always protect his sister. Of course, for his wife, Moon Emperor, Yi Tian naturally helped if he could. After all, husband and wife are one, and Moon Emperor had accumulated a lot of experience at the Emperor level. Even if he quickly improved her cultivation, it would not cause instability in the realm. Yi Tian continued to cultivate. Time passed day by day, and the chaotic vitality spewed out from the Chaos Ancient Well became less and less. In addition, Yi Tian and the Moon Emperor were cultivating in the time environment, and the chaotic vitality they absorbed far exceeded that of others, thus causing the chaotic vitality of the metaverse to be consumed very quickly. Gradually, the cultivation speed of others became slower and slower. What's going on? Why has the cultivation speed slowed down, and the chaotic vitality around is getting less and less? You see, there are more and more cracks in that ancient well. Is it about to break? The Chaos Yuan Qi gushed out from that ancient well. Now, the Chaos Yuan Qi gushing out is getting less and less, and it seems that the metaverse's effect on us is getting lower and lower. If we continue like this, won't we soon be unable to cultivate in the metaverse? Oh my God, I've already fallen in love with cultivating in the metaverse. If I can't cultivate in the metaverse, it's really too painful. Hee. Who doesn't want to cultivate in the metaverse? It's only been such a short time, and I've already broken the physical limit 3 times. If I am given time, I even have the hope of rushing to the 9-star Emperor level combat power. The Emperors were in a commotion, but they quickly regained their composure. They didn't want to waste their time in boring discussions and chats, but tried to seize every minute and every second as much as possible to absorb the chaotic energy and refine their bodies. Finally, on this day, the Chaos Yuan Qi was already very thin, and the Chaos Ancient Well was on the verge of shattering. All the Emperor levels have left the metaverse. The metaverse is about to shatter. Yi Tian's voice resounded throughout the metaverse. What? The metaverse is about to shatter? The emperors of the metaverse began to panic. They wouldn't think that Yi Tian had deceived them. After all, Yi Tian didn't have to lie to them. In addition, the chaotic vitality of the metaverse was already very thin, so many emperors left the metaverse one by one. Haha, Master, I have completed the 11th bloodline transformation, Xiao Shui said excitedly as he ran to Yi Tian. Xiao Shui, your progress is very good, but the metaverse is about to shatter. You better go out with Xiao Yu and them first. Yi Tian ordered. Okay. Xiao Shui nodded in response. Immediately, Yi Tian asked Yi Yu to leave with those emperors in the heavenly pavilion, and even let his wife, Emperor Yu, leave first. Husband, won't you leave? The Moon Emperor asked. Yi Tian shook his head, and then said truthfully, I am going to impact the 19th physical limit before the metaverse is completely shattered. Now, I am only one step away from the 19th physical limit. I don't want to give up, so I want to take this opportunity to impact. Yuer, don't worry, I will be able to get out in time before the metaverse is completely shattered. Okay, then I'll go out first. You must be careful not to put yourself in danger in order to break the 19th physical limit. Emperor Yu admonished. Soon, all the emperor levels basically went out, leaving only Yi Tian alone to sit next to the Chaos Ancient Well. Rumble. Yi Tian frantically absorbed the chaotic vitality of the entire metaverse, and the chaotic vitality from other places flocked to Yi Tian's side. No one grabbed the chaos vitality with Yi Tian, so Yi Tian absorbed a lot of chaos vitality. Click. It is estimated that 2 cracks have appeared again. The entire Chaos Ancient Well began to tremble at this time, which is clearly a sign that it is about to shatter. Yi Tian knew that there was not much time left for him, and he had to take advantage of this time to break the 19th physical limit as much as possible, otherwise he would have to leave the metaverse. Time passed minute by minute. Even if there was a 10-fold time acceleration, Yi Tian felt that time passed very, very fast. Finally, Yi Tian felt the bottleneck of the 19th physical limit. Let's start impacting. Yi Tian gathered the last remaining chaotic vitality in the metaverse, stored it inside his body, and then urged the nameless flesh body to cultivate the secret technique. Yi Tian knew that he only had one chance to impact. Once this impact failed, the chaotic vitality of the metaverse would not be enough, and there would be no time to give him another chance to impact. The 19th physical limit, break it for me. Yi Tian yelled in his heart. Click. A cracking sound resounded in Yi Tian's ears. Suddenly, he felt the infinite power surging from his body, and the remaining chaotic vitality replenished his body's needs. At this time, he felt that his body was getting stronger and stronger, and his whole body was transforming. Clearly, he had broken his 19th physical limit. Ha ha ha, I finally broke through. Yi Tian was very excited. Breaking the 19th physical limit, who in the entire galaxy can do it? At least Yi Tian had never heard of any Tianzhao breaking the 19th physical limit. Before Yi Tian could familiarize himself with the strength after the breakthrough, the Chaos Ancient Well was completely shattered. Oh no, let's go. Yi Tian hurriedly teleported away. Phew. Teleported again and again, Yi Tian rushed to the entrance and exit of the metaverse. At this time, the entrances and exits of the metaverse also began to collapse. If it was an ordinary emperor, he would not be able to get out at all. But Yi Tian's spatial talent had reached the pseudo-mystical level. He used his spatial talent to sense the coordinates of the Earth's overworld. Bang! Yi Tian forcibly tore apart the entrance and exit of the metaverse that began to collapse, and his body penetrated the entrance. Countless space debris strangled Yi Tian, but they were all blocked by the space barrier cast by Yi Tian. Kunlun Mountain, the Moon Emperor, Yi Yu, and Xiao Shui were all waiting outside for Yi Tian to come out. Chapter 362. Sister-in-law, the entrance to the metaverse is broken. Yi Yu's face was full of worry. The entrance to the metaverse is broken. Can my brother Yi Tian still be able to come out? Although the Moon Emperor was also very worried, she still said, Xiao Yu, your brother will definitely be able to come out. As soon as the words fell, a hand poked out from the entrance of the shattered metaverse. Then Yi Tian's whole body came out. Although he was a little embarrassed, there was nothing wrong. Seeing that Yi Tian came out safely, the Moon Emperor hurriedly ran over, crashed into Yi Tian's arms at once, and hugged Yi Tian tightly. Okay, I'm fine. Yi Tian patted the Moon Emperor on the back and said. Immediately, Yi Tian, Moon Emperor, Yi Yu, and Xiao Shui left the Kunlun Mountains and returned to the Zhanghai Superbase. In the next few days, the Earth was very lively, mainly because the contradictions between China and other countries intensified. The emperors of other countries knew that Huasha's emperors had entered the metaverse, and their cultivation had increased greatly and their strength had increased greatly, so they were naturally extremely jealous. They all asked Huasha why they didn't give them places to enter the metaverse. Naturally, Yi Tian didn't need to deal with such a small matter, and the emperors of Huasha walked towards other countries one after another, defeating all the emperors one by one. Then, the voices of opposition and questioning Huasha gradually disappeared. You must know that after the emperors of Huasha came out of the metaverse, not only were there several 9-star emperors, but even there were many 8-star emperors, and there were many other 6-star and 7-star emperors. As for the emperors of other countries, most of them are very weak, and the 7-star emperor level is the strongest. They can't resist the emperors of Huasha at all. In addition, the emperors of Huasha set off wars in the Earth Immortal Realm, almost sweeping the entire Earth Immortal Realm. Originally, there were still some emperor level of foreign forces left in the Earth Immortal Realm. But when these emperor level knew about the fall of the 8-star and 9-star emperor level and demigods of the foreign forces, these emperor level immediately evacuated the Earth and disappeared long ago. Therefore, the Chinese emperors soon occupied the entire Earth Immortal Realm. The forces of other kingdoms were completely subservient to the forces of China at this time, and they did not dare to compete with the forces of China at all. All of a sudden, Huasha became the most powerful country on the Earth, and the forces of Huasha also became the strongest forces on the Earth. At the same time, with the shattering of the metaverse, the vitality of the Earth began to recover. It can be said that a new era is coming. After not caring about these trivial matters for a day, after he returned to the Zhanghai Superbase, he began to retreat to stabilize his realm. Time passed. This day, in the fierce beast world near the Zhanghai Superbase, many dragon powerhouses have appeared. World of Beasts. A humanoid dragon in a golden robe stepped on the void. His eyes looked at the spatial crack, and a wisp of breath seemed to freeze the entire fierce beast world, causing countless fierce beasts to lie on the ground, not daring to move at all. Behind him stood a god-level dragon clan. These god-level dragon clans stood behind this humanoid dragon clan very respectfully, and they didn't dare to come out, and they were very in awe of it. The person who is the leader is surnamed Dragon Lord, and he is Long Tianlin's grandfather, known as the true god of Qingtian. Lord Qingtian, true god, His Highness Long Tianlin is on this human planet on the other side of the spatial rift. A demigod stood in front of the heavenly true god in great trepidation and said. The true god didn't speak, but the anger on his face was very obvious. He is the true god of the dragon clan, and his grandson is also his very proud heir. But he didn't expect his grandson to be caught on a human planet, and he forcibly asked him to exchange the dragon clan's fire dragon god stone. What a shame it is for him to be threatened by an emperor. Even if that emperor level is a Tianzhao, once such a thing spreads, how can his face remain? It's a pity that he is a true god and can't pass through the spatial rift. Of course, he can directly enter the human galaxy and destroy the Earth with the body of a true god. But it is not very easy for him to enter the solar system because a large number of people are arranged on the periphery of the human starfield. If he dares to sneak into the human area, he will definitely be targeted by powerful beings. If he just entered the galaxy for a walk, it would be fine. But if he dared to make a move on the human planet, and it was a high-level planetary world, he would not want to come back. In order to destroy a human planet and leave his life in the human world, he is not so stupid. It's okay to get it back in the future if you lose face, but the grandson's life is the first priority, and there must be no accident. So, the heavenly true god spoke. These are 2 fire dragon divine stones. You enter the earth to bring my grandson back. If you mess up this matter, you and your people will bury my grandson. The demigod said in fear, Lord Qingtian, true god, my subordinates will definitely do it. Immediately, this demigod took 2 fire dragon divine stones through the spatial rift and entered the earth. After a while, he came to the outside of the Zhanghai Superbase, reported his identity, and asked Yi Tian to be informed. Heavenly Pavilion. Yi Tian soon learned of the arrival of the Dragon Clan's envoy. The heavenly true God has collected 2 fire dragon divine stones so quickly, the speed is fast enough. Yi Tian sighed. He also thought that Long Tianlin's grandfather, Qingtian true God, would take half a year. After all, the fire dragon divine stone is not an ordinary thing. Even in the dragon clan, it is very precious. It is not easy for a true god to collect the fire dragon divine stone. It is estimated that he will have to run a lot of dragon planets, and even trade with other powerful existences. Moreover, what he asked for was 2 fire dragon divine stones, not 1 fire dragon divine stone, and it would take even longer. Qingtian true god was probably very worried about his grandson's life, so he collected 2 fire dragon divine stones as quickly as possible. Wow! Yi Tian flew out of the Zhonghai superbase and met the demigod of the dragon clan. I've seen 10,000 laws. The demigod of the dragon clan said respectfully. Okay, take out the 2 fire dragon divine stones. As long as you hand over the fire dragon divine stones to me, His Highness Long Tianlin will definitely return them to you. Yi Tian hurriedly said. Suddenly, the demigod of the Dragon Ball trembled and took out the 2 fire dragon divine stones. He was a little scared, afraid that Yi Tian would snatch the 2 fire dragon divine stones, but he would not let His Highness Long Tianlin go. If this was the case, not only would he have to die, but his clansmen would also be killed by the heavenly true god. Swish! Yi Tian instantly took the 2 fire dragon divine stones, and then spread out his palm, urging the void palm, and released Long Tianlin, who was in the void realm. Long Tianlin, who was seriously injured, opened his eyes slightly after coming out of the void Mina realm, saw the demigods of the dragon clan and Yi Tian, and immediately understood what was going on. The dragons have come to his rescue. Hurry up and get out of here with your Highness Long Tianlin. Yi Tian waved his hand. Thank you, Wanfa Tianzhao. After the dragon demigod was grateful, he hurriedly hugged Long Tianlin and left. In a short time, they passed through the spatial rift and came to the world of fierce beasts. This is Long Tianlin meeting his grandfather, Qingtian true god. Grandpa, Long Tianlin shouted, let's go back. Qingtian Genshin said lightly, but did not say much else. Long Tianlin knew that he had disappointed his grandfather. A group of dragons passed through the teleportation array and left this fierce beast world. Soon, calm returned to the beastly world. On the other side, Yi Tian returned to the heavenly pavilion and took out the 2 fire dragon divine stones. At this time, he was laughing wildly, and his face was full of excitement. Ha 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 ha! All the 4 auxiliary materials for cultivating the fire divine power Great Flame Exterminator have been gathered. I have the God-level fire domain talent transformed by the 5 elements talent, and I have met all the cultivation requirements of the fire divine power Great Flame Exterminator. Yi Tian said. In other words, he can now cultivate the fire divine power Great Flame Exterminator. Chapter 363. The cultivation method of the fire supernatural power, Great Flame Extinguishing Hand is actually very simple. That is, all 4 materials are refined in the palm of the hand in a special way. Then, use the God-level fire talent to form a special supernatural imprint in the palm of the hand. Once you activate the divine power mark during the battle, you can cast your divine ability. Of course, the same supernatural power is also divided into realms, such as the Great Flame Extinguishing Hand, which is divided into 4 small realms: Entry, Small Success, Great Success, and Consummation. This division is similar to martial arts, and the improvement of supernatural powers is much more difficult than martial arts. Even if many Tianzhao have practiced supernatural powers, they are actually just entry-level supernatural powers. If they want to continue to improve their supernatural powers, they can't do it without enough talent and enough time. However, even entry-level supernatural powers are very powerful, far exceeding God-level talents. Yi Tian was still quite looking forward to the fire system's supernatural power, Great Flame Extinguisher, so he was ready to start cultivating. He took out the Fire Dragon Divine Stone, the Fire God Crystal, the million-year-old Fire Spirit Essence, and the 7th Order Alien Fire, Buddha Lotus Golden Flame Fire. These 4 materials are not ordinary materials, but the treasures that contain the origin of the law of the fire system. Under normal circumstances, these 4 materials are difficult to melt, let alone dissolve in the palm of the hand, but there is a corresponding refining method in the hand of the fire god power, Great Flame Extermination. According to the record of the fire system's supernatural power, Great Flame Exterminator, the first one that needs to be refined is the 7th order alien fire, the Buddha Lotus Golden Flame Fire. The reason why the first thing that needs to be refined is the Buddha Lotus Golden Flame is because the later refining method needs to use the power of the Buddha Lotus Golden Flame of alien fire. Immediately, Yi Tian opened the jade box sealed in the Buddha Lotus Golden Flame. Rumble. The Buddha Lotus Golden Flame appeared in the air out of thin air, and the terrifying power of the flame burned the void. It was as if the space was going to be turned dark under the flames of the Buddha Lotus Gold. If it is an ordinary emperor level, once it touches the Buddha Lotus Golden Flame, he's afraid that the whole person will be burned to ashes. Of course, for a peerless Tianzhao like Yi Tian, the Buddha Lotus Golden Flame was just a flame with a relatively high temperature. Wow! Yi Tian grabbed the Buddha Lotus Golden Flame and urged the refining method recorded in the hand of the fire divine power, Great Flame Extinguisher. Give me refining. Yi Tian was refining with all his might, and the Buddha Lotus Golden Flame slowly dissolved into Yi Tian's palm under Yi Tian's refining method. Suddenly, Yi Tian's entire palm turned red. Time passed little by little, and a day passed in the blink of an eye. After a whole day of refining, the Buddha Lotus Golden Flame was finally smelted in the palm of Yi Tian's hand. The second one starts refining the fire god crystal. Yi Tian said with a solemn face. It is not difficult to refine the Buddha Lotus Golden Flame, but it is not easy to refine the fire god crystal. The fire god crystal is a very strong and extremely solid fire-type treasure. Even if it has the Buddha Lotus Golden Flame fire, it takes a long time to smelt the fire god crystal in the palm of your hand. Wow! A faint flame appeared in Yi Tian's palm, and under the effect of the refining method, it enveloped the fire god crystal. Alchemy began. Soon a day passed, and the Vulcan crystal only changed shape slightly, but it was a long way from being completely smelted. Half a month has passed in a blink of an eye. On this day, the fire god crystal completely turned into a liquid substance, slowly wrapping Yi Tian's entire palm, and little by little it merged into the flesh and blood in Yi Tian's palm. The process took another 3 days before the melting was finally completed. At this point, the second stage is completed. The third one is to start refining the Fire Dragon Divine Stone. Refining the Fire Dragon Divine Stone is slightly easier than refining the Fire God Crystal, but it also takes a lot of time. Yi Tian's right hand held the Fire Dragon Divine Stone to urge the refining method, refining the Fire Dragon Divine Stone little by little, and time passed slowly like this. 10 days later, the Fire Dragon Divine Stone was also completely dissolved in Yi Tian's palm. In this way, the 3 fire-type treasures had been completely refined by Yi Tian, and only the last one was left, the million-year-old Fire Spirit Essence. This million-year-old Fire Spirit Essence has an indispensable importance. It plays a comprehensive role. The Fire God Crystal, the Fire Dragon Divine Stone, and the Buddha Lotus Golden Flame Fire, the 3 fire system treasures, in fact, were not completely fused at all. They were just smelted in the palm of Yi Tian's hand, but the fire origin of the 3 kinds of treasure was still not fused. However, with millions of fire spirit essences, he can make the Fire God Crystal, the Fire Dragon Divine Stone, and the Buddha Lotus Golden Flame Fire, the origin of the 3 fire treasures, completely and perfectly fused in the palm of his hand to become one. It was relatively simple to refine the million-year-old fire spirit essence. Yi Tian put his palm into the liquid substance of the million-year-old fire spirit essence, and it only took 3 days to completely absorb all of the million-year-old fire spirit essence. Now, there is only one last step left, using the god-level fire talent to practice the supernatural imprint in the palm of his hand. So, Yi Tian used the innate ability of the god-level fire domain talent, coupled with the cultivation method of the fire system divine power, Great Flame Extinguishing Hand, and began to continuously condense the divine power mark on the palm of his right hand. Let's start, Yi Tian said secretly in his heart. Rumble. A large amount of fire law power appeared in the palm of the right hand, constantly converging and condensing on the palm of the right hand. Gradually, the entire right palm was completely transformed. Time passed day by day, and after a full 5 days, all the power of the fire law converged to a single point, forming a supernatural imprint, hidden deep in the palm of his right hand. The fire system's supernatural power, Great Flame Extinguished Hand, was thoroughly cultivated. The fire system's supernatural power, Great Flame Extinguisher, has been introduced. This was Yi Tian's first supernatural power, and he was more interested in the power of the fire-based supernatural power, Great Flame Extinguisher. Swish! Yi Tian flew out of the Zhonghai superbase, rushed all the way out of the earth, and came to the starry sky. He prepares to test the power of the Great Flame Slayer in the starry sky. I saw Yi Tian urging the divine power mark, Great Flame, to extinguish his hand, aiming at the starry sky in front of him and striking it out with one palm. Great Flame Extinguishing Hands. With a bang, a huge flame palm appeared in the void in front of him, grabbing it towards the starry sky, and the terrifying power of the flame incinerated a large area of the starry sky. Under the effect of the Great Flame, even the space was affected. The power of the fire system divine power is really much more powerful than the god-level fire talent. Yi Tian exclaimed, although the attack power of the Great Flame Exterminator is still much worse than his strongest attack power, the fire magic power can be activated instantly, and it doesn't affect his other means. That is to say, the fire magic power can assist him in attacking. In this case, the use of the fire magic power is too great. Moreover, the power consumed by the fire magic power is very small, and it can continue to attack. In addition, this is only an entry to the fire system. Once the fire system power reaches the level of small success or consummation, the power is even more terrifying. What's more, the Great Flame Extinguishing Hand is not a too rebellious supernatural power, and there must be many supernatural powers that are more terrifying than the Great Flame Extinguishing Hands. In short, the supernatural power is definitely a very powerful means of amplification for martial artists. Moreover, Yi Tian was actually looking forward to the supernatural powers corresponding to the time talent and the space talent. The spatial talent has only reached the pseudo-mystical level. It is much, much stronger than the god-level talent. If the spatial talent has also reached the god level, and has been cultivated into a spatial supernatural power by Yi Tian, then how terrifying is the power of this spatial supernatural power? It will definitely be Yi Tian's strongest and strongest attack method in the future. Moreover, Yi Tian faintly felt that he was not far from the 8-star peerless Tianzhao. Before, he broke the 19th physical limit, and his own strength was already at the top of the 8-star peerless Tianzhao. Now, he has practiced the fire system magic power of the Great Flame Exterminator, and his strength has increased a little, which can be said to be the limit of the 8-star peerless Tianzhao. The fire divine power, Great Flame Extinguishing Hand, has now been practiced, but it is very difficult to cultivate it to Shaocheng. Yi Tian temporarily gave up cultivating the fire divine power for the time being, and shifted his mind to the palm technique, sword technique, and claw technique. Especially the palm skills and knife skills. Once there is a slight improvement, Yi Tian will definitely be able to step into the 8-star peerless Tianzhao. There is still a lack of a super god level sword skill. Yi Tian frowned slightly. His current sword path realm is 50%, and he is not far from the 50% realm. The general super god level sword skill requires 50% of the 5-sword realm to practice. However, the super god level sword skills involving space only need to be 50% of the sword path realm to be cultivated to the entry realm. Therefore, what Yi Tian was most eager for now was a super god level sword technique involving space. Chapter 364. Super god level sword skills are very rare. There are indeed some in Tianzhao Pavilion. I have exposed the strength of peerless Tianzhao. I can go back to Tianzhao Pavilion to break into Tianzhao Tower. I should be able to get a lot of points, and I should be able to buy a super god level sword skill involving space by using those points. Yi Tian thought so. This was also the only way he could think of to obtain a super god level sword skill. But at present, he couldn't go back to Yinyuxing because there were too many things on the earth, and he couldn't just leave now. The point is that he has only been back for a long time, and if he leaves again, his wife, Emperor Yu, will definitely be reluctant. The super god level sword skill is not in a hurry in advance. Come out first to take care of the things on the earth. Yi Tian said secretly in his heart. Nowadays, the dragons and foreign forces on the earth have basically left, but there are still many fierce beasts on the earth. It can be said that the human beings on the earth have not even completely controlled the earth, let alone the entire solar system. As the lord of the solar system, if Yi Tian does not even completely control his hometown Earth, he is undoubtedly an unreasonable lord of the solar system. Plus, there's a little more. Those spatial cracks will disappear soon, and the reason why there are so many space cracks on the Earth is because the Earth is expanding too fast, causing spatial changes, coupled with the influence of the metaverse. Otherwise, it is impossible for so many space cracks to appear. Once the spatial rift disappears, the Earth will no longer be threatened by the beast world, but it will also have a lot less resources. Therefore, the first thing Yi Tian had to deal with was to collect the resources of the fierce beast world, and seize the time to plunder the resources of the fierce beast world while the spatial rift was still disappearing. Anyway, those fierce beast worlds are basically in the star field of the Dragon Clan, and the human race will not feel distressed if they collect the resources of these fierce beast worlds. So, Yi Tian started an emperor-level meeting in the virtual world. After a while, many emperors attended this meeting. Yi Tian opened his mouth and said, "Ladies and gentlemen from all over China, I have called everyone to this meeting this time to put forward an opinion, suggesting that everyone hurry up and collect the resources of the fierce beast world, because according to my calculations, the space rift on the Earth will soon disappear. With our current strength, it is not difficult to sweep through the beast world, and if the spatial rift disappears, we will lose a lot of resources." The spatial rift is going to disappear. Emperor Ling Fei frowned. During this period of time, he had been dealing with the affairs of the Earth immortal realm, and he almost ignored the fierce beast world. Most of the resources on the Earth are plundered from the beast world. Although the Earth itself has a lot of resources, there are so many beast worlds. How rich the accumulated resources are. Immediately, Yi Tian proposed that the emperors of Huasha assist some weak bases to attack those fierce beast worlds, and sweep the fierce beast worlds corresponding to the spatial cracks in Huasha as quickly as possible, plundering all the resources of the fierce beast world. Once the resources of the fierce beast world corresponding to the spatial rift in Huasha have been plundered, enter the sea area and attack the fierce beast world corresponding to the spatial rift in the sea area. If, at this time, the spatial rift has not disappeared, they will invade the fierce beast world corresponding to the spatial rift in other countries. In short, gather as many resources as you can. That is the purpose of this meeting. Emperor of 10,000 laws, we understand. Let's arrange manpower to attack the beast world and collect resources. An emperor level answered. Immediately, the emperors went offline one after another to arrange, and Yi Tian also went offline. Subsequently, Yi Tian informed the Emperor of the Tomahawk and other emperors of the Zhonghai Superbase that the Zhonghai Superbase must collect the resources of the beast world as quickly as possible. The fierce beast world corresponding to the 5-star spatial crack near the Zhonghai Superbase has long been devoid of the fierce beast overlord, and casually sending some 3 or 4-star emperor level is enough to sweep through the entire fierce beast world. Therefore, there is no need for Yi Tian to make a move at all. But this time, Yi Tian also sent a lot of Heavenly Pavilion martial artists, and they regarded it as a practice. Subsequently, Yi Tian also sent a lot of Heavenly Pavilion martial artists from the Zhonghai Superbase to the Demon Sea Base. There was a 3-star space crack near the Demon Sea Base. That's right, Yi Tian was ready to make a move against this 3-star spatial crack corresponding to the Ape Dragon Beast world. Under normal circumstances, a 3-star spatial crack could only allow king-level powerhouses to enter, and neither the saint level nor the emperor level could pass through the 3-star spatial crack. But in fact, a 3-star space crack can be upgraded to a 4-star space crack and a 5-star space crack. It's just that most people don't know. But Yi Tian knew. He checked a lot of information during the time he went to Yinyu Xing, and there was specific information about the spatial rift. There are many ways to increase the level of spatial rifts, and one of them is to establish a special spatial array. However, Yi Tian hadn't studied the space formation, and he didn't want to waste this time. The second way is to use the spatial talent to expand the spatial rift, but not to forcibly tear it, otherwise it will withstand the backlash of the world's power, just like Yi Tian did before. Using space talent expansion is to integrate countless space debris into the space rift, so that the space crack can devour the space debris and grow, so as to grow to the 5-star space crack level. The space rift inside the planet can only grow to a 5-star level at most, but this is enough. Demon Sea Base. Whoa! A Saint level and Emperor level came to the Demon Sea Base, and then went straight to the 3-star spatial crack. For the arrival of so many Saint level and Emperor level, as the base master of the Demon Sea Base, Yun Mengli, he was quite confused. Therefore, he also led many kings of the Demon Sea Great Base to the 3-star space crack here to see the situation. Yun Mengli happened to see an acquaintance, who was his former friend, who was only a king-level friend at the beginning, but now he has also become a saint-level powerhouse. Li Feng. Yun Mengli's divine consciousness transmitted. The saint-level named Li Feng saw Yun Mengli and flew over. He didn't look down on Yun Mengli. Even though Yun Mengli was still a king, the two were still friends. Yun Mengli, you're here too. Li Feng said, can I not come? So many of you Saint level and Emperor level have passed through our Demon Sea Great Base, and I'm also the base master of the Demon Sea Great Base. Why don't I come and find out about the situation? Yun Mengli said helplessly. Immediately, he asked curiously, Li Feng, what the hell is going on? Could it be that something is going to happen to this 3-star space crack? Li Feng said solemnly, yes, but the change is not caused by the fierce beast, but caused by us. We are ready to attack the fierce beast world and plunder the resources of that fierce beast world. Ah, attacking the world of fierce beasts? Yun Mengli's eyes widened, not understanding what this operation was. Besides, this is only a 3-star spatial crack. How can a strong person above the saint level pass? At the beginning, Yi Tian relied on his spatial talent to pass through the 3-star spatial crack, but he also suffered the power of backlash. How did you pass through the 3-star spatial rift? Yun Mengli was puzzled. Naturally, we can't help it, but the Heavenly Emperor of 10,000 Laws has a way. Li Feng said, Emperor of 10,000 Laws. Yun Mengli knew who the Wanfa Heavenly Emperor was. It was Yi Tian. Yi Tian used to be a member of the Demon Sea Base, but Yi Tian's strength is getting stronger and stronger, and now it has already exceeded his imagination. It's just that he still doesn't know much about Yi Tian. He only knows that Yi Tian is very powerful among the Emperor level. After all, he is only a king level, and even if he can log in to the virtual world, he has very little information to understand. That's when it happened. A figure teleported in and appeared in front of many emperors. I've seen the Emperor of 10,000 Laws. One by one, the Emperor level and Saint level bent down and saluted. Yi Tian glanced around, and then with a flick of his hand, he erased the formation of the 3-star spatial crack. Bang! The 3-star spatial rift that had been suppressed into a 1-star spatial rift slowly recovered, and after a while, it became a real 3-star spatial rift. Everybody, back away, Yi Tian ordered. Yes! Everyone retreated, and no one dared to refute it. In the blink of an eye, everyone retreated very far. At this time, Yun Mengli asked in a low voice, Li Feng, I just found out that some of the Emperor level here are also the heads of the big forces of the Zhonghai Superbase, and the 10,000 Laws Heavenly Emperor is the head of the Heavenly Pavilion. Everyone should be on an equal footing. How do I think they are too respectful to the 10,000 Laws Heavenly Emperor, just like their subordinates? Li Feng hurriedly said, Yun Mengli, you have to be careful when you speak. Don't be known by the 10,000 Laws Heavenly Emperor. Otherwise, the 10,000 Laws Heavenly Emperor will not teach you, but others will definitely teach you a lesson. How can you compare these ordinary Emperor levels with the 10,000 Laws Heavenly Emperor? The two are not the same level at all. Not a level? Yun Mengli didn't understand.